The Kemper Profiler is a digital instrument in its own right, not just a substitute for analog gear. Combining the benefits of Kemper's MIDI capabilities with Camelot Pro software, it's possible to achieve amazing results without the help of a tech or backliner. Camelot makes managing setup settings simple and intuitive, whether using Kemper for live performances, recording with a band, or just practicing. I'm Mattia Santi, and in this video, we'll see how to use Kemper and Camelot together to improve your live performances and optimize your setup. To get the free edition of Camelot, please see the link below. First, we connect Kemper to a MIDI interface. In this case, I am using an audio card with MIDI inputs and outputs. Then, we launch Camelot Pro, which will control Kemper. To do this, MIDI out on the audio card must be connected to MIDI in on Kemper. Next, we create a new set list. To do this, go to the Songs view and click on New Set List. Now, let's move to the Scenes view. Camelot uses scenes to send configuration changes to the instruments it is managing. In a song, one or more scenes can be used. To include Kemper in a scene, simply follow these steps. First, we need to create a new layer. Go to the Layers view, click the plus button in the Scene Layers section, and follow the steps through the guided procedure. Once we have created our new layer, click on the plus button inside it to add a new item. Then, on Instruments and Devices, Hardware Devices, and finally, select the Kemper Smart Map. Now, we have created an item dedicated to Kemper. The first time we add an item, it is important to properly set up the audio and MIDI settings for the item, including MIDI send and receive ports and audio input. Once configured, Camelot will store these settings. We can also use the search bar to have direct access to any item. Now, all we have to do is specify the Kemper performance and slot within Camelot. It is not necessary to know the MIDI message for changing the performance, as Camelot's Smart Map will manage that for us. The performance we are going to set up is the clean sound I created for the medley. Inside Kemper, this clean preset is in Bank 14, Slot 1. Use the search bar to find the desired performance among all the banks that are there, and then select it. Selecting the slot within the map allows Camelot to send the MIDI program change message. In the medley I presented, I managed everything with 3 amplifiers: clean, crunch, and lead. To automate the changes, create a scene for each of the 3 amplifiers. This is already a great result, but Camelot can do much more, such as making changes to or deactivating a stomp, or increasing or decreasing the level of a delay in part of the song. I will show you those things in a moment, but first, I would like to help you understand the difference between control change and program change messages by simplifying this concept. In the situation we are describing, we can think of program change as a message that changes the type of amplifier, while control change allows us to change the parameters. Control change, or CC messages, are MIDI commands that allow for real-time control of musical instruments and, in our case, can activate or deactivate a stomp or effect at a specific moment. In the medley, I used CC messages to activate or deactivate various effects multiple times. Let's see how to do this. Create a copy of the current scene so that we don't have to redo the configuration. Then, press the expansion arrow in the bottom right corner of the Kemper item to access management of the CC messages that can be sent from this scene. By default, CC messages are disabled. To activate one, select a fader and click on the name of the CC to modify it according to our needs. To recreate a layout similar to that of Kemper, I recommend setting the last 4 control changes to those present in Kemper. If there's no effect assigned in the block, set the switch to off. The same procedure can be repeated as needed in the Kemper items in the other scenes, depending on the results we want to achieve. Since Camelot shows the names of the parameters or effects corresponding to the CC in the Kemper mapping, there will be no need to search for them in the Kemper user manual. If you have difficulty finding the buttons to turn a stomp on or off, go to this screen. To turn a stomp off, set the CC value to 0, while to activate the effect, enter a value of 127. Now, let's see how to automate scene changes during playback of the song. Within Camelot's timeline, in the backing track section, we add an audio track by clicking on the plus button and selecting the medley audio. To insert our scenes, we click on the plus button in the Scenes section title bar. As we can see, all previously created scenes are already listed there, so we can insert them into the timeline. I recommend using this procedure because it will simplify your work, allowing you to recall the same scene multiple times without having to duplicate it. I hope this video has inspired you, and that, thanks to Camelot, you can simplify your live experience with the Kemper. If you have questions or want further information, please leave a comment below.
you.